You know what's spooky? Zombies. You know what else is spooky? Zombie versions of Marvel characters. That's right, I'm talking about Marvel Zombies, one of the most popular alternate versions of the Marvel Universe, and one that I'm not really a fan of. Sort of. Let's talk about it. Marvel Zombies is a story where a zombified version of a character called the Sentry crashes on Earth, infecting the Avengers and other nearby superheroes, eventually spreading across the planet. Now solely populated by zombified versions of Marvel's heroes and villains who still retain their powers, intelligence, and personality, but are solely fueled by their need to consume living flesh, they have to struggle with finding new sources of food and deal with the guilt of their actions. There's also been a few different versions of Marvel Zombies here and there with different origin stories to it, but this is the main one that I'm talking about, so we're just going to stick with this one. While this story does have its fans, I am not one of them. I used to like it when I was younger, but as time went on and I read the story more, the appeal of it just wore off completely. I don't know about you guys, but having zombie Marvel characters feeling bad about being zombies just isn't a very compelling story, especially since Marvel Zombies' main focus seems to be taking the Marvel Universe and making it as gruesome as possible just for the sake of grossing people out. At the end of the day, I'd rather just read a story with less grotesque takes on these characters, and I think there are even better horror stories featuring Marvel characters anyways. However, I don't think it's all bad. It's more of a mixed bag. In fact, there are some Marvel Zombies stories I do like, two of them in particular, and I want to talk about them real quick, so here they are. The first time Marvel Zombies ever appeared were in a story arc of the Ultimate Fantastic Four comic. To give some context, the main continuity classic version of the Fantastic Four are fairly lighthearted scientists and explorers going on wacky sci-fi adventures, while the Ultimate Universe version of the Fantastic Four are much younger and work directly with the US government, which is a pretty stark contrast. However, a crossover was teased between both the classic and Ultimate Universe, as Ultimate Mr. Fantastic was using an interdimensional communicator thing of some kind to interact with the classic version of Mr. Fantastic, who was helping him build a teleporter to the original Marvel Universe. Except it was all a lie, and it was actually zombie Mr. Fantastic luring in Ultimate Mr. Fantastic to the Marvel Zombies universe, hoping to use the teleporter as a way for the zombies of the Marvel Zombies universe to leave their world and go to a new one to find a new source of food. I think it's a really good twist that you don't see coming. It puts a nice spin on the idea of like the multiverse and infinite possibilities. It tells a pretty scary horror story with like are supposed to be generally lighthearted characters like the Fantastic Four in a way that works, and it doesn't overstay its welcome with the gruesomeness either. Another story I like is a much less serious take on Marvel Zombies, but one that I think works much better than the original story because it's a crossover with the Evil Dead series, which is inherently goofy. Marvel Zombies vs. the Army of Darkness follows Ash Williams being sent to the Marvel Zombies universe just as the infection is spreading, and tries to find a way back to his own dimension while fighting off zombified Marvel characters and having just other wacky things going on. Because it's a crossover with a really goofy horror series, I think the idea of zombified Marvel characters just works a lot better. It makes more sense here as a crossover than having the Marvel Zombies be the main attraction, if that makes sense. They're still important, but I don't know, crossing over with Evil Dead, I feel like that idea just works better here. All in all, I think Marvel Zombies works a lot better when it's crossing over with something else. I don't think the idea of zombified Marvel characters eating everyone in the most gruesome ways possible then feeling bad about it makes for a compelling story, rather one that just relies too much on shock value. But I do think they make genuinely scary antagonists when used sparingly, like in the Ultimate Fantastic Four comics or when crossing over with something like Evil Dead, and I think they even show up in Secret Wars at some point. I don't know. But I do know if you want to read Marvel Zombies, I suggest sticking with these two comics, but hey, if you like the other ones too, that's perfectly okay. This is just my opinion. I'm personally not a big fan. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.